Combat example. On every turn in Mr. Card Game, after you complete your non-combat phase, you will select a monster to defeat. Why you choose the monster you choose will be some combination of how powerful a monster you can handle, and also your assessment of the synergy of the rewards offered by the monsters currently available with your chosen strategy. In order to defeat a monster, you will use one of the 4 combat maneuvers available in Mr. Card Game. The 4 combat maneuvers are 1. The melee attack, usually involving a melee weapon, but possible without. 2. The ranged attack, often benefiting from an equipped ranged weapon. 3. The spell attack, which can be boosted by a number of spells and items. Or 4. Defense. You may only use 1 combat maneuver per fight, and you may only fight 1 monster per turn. The 4 combat actions work similarly. A melee attack allows you to play muscle cards from your hand and add any bonus melee damage or bonus weapon damage from items you have equipped, as well as activated skill cards, which give melee bonuses. Similarly, a ranged attack allows you to play moxie cards from your hand and add bonus ranged weapon damage or weapon damage from items you have equipped, along with potential skill bonuses. A spell attack allows you to play the mysticality cards from your hand and add the spell or spells you have in your tableau, as well as any other skill or item-derived bonuses. In all 3 of the above cases, the number you arrive at is your damage. This number must equal or exceed the power of the monster you defeat. Certain skills or items may add bonus damage that will increase your total, potentially allowing you to defeat more powerful monsters. Defense allows you to play moxie cards from your hand and add that to the total value of defense icons on your equipped items and the skills you have in your tableau. The total must equal or exceed the power of the monster you defeat. Remember, bonus damage, regardless of the source, does not increase your defense total. Regardless of which combat maneuver you choose, you must play at least 1 associated stat card from your hand to perform the action. Here is an example. It's early in the game, and Paul, our sample player, still has his starting equipment in play. His hat and his pair of pants each provide him with 1 point of defense, which he may add to any moxie he plays from his hand for the defense combat maneuver. On the other hand, if he opts for a melee attack, his sweet ninja sword will add 2 to the value of the muscle stat cards he plays. If Paul chooses to do a spell attack, he would only be able to rely on his in-hand mysticality cards for damage, as he does not currently possess any spells or equipment which offer bonuses to spell attacks. Paul's hand currently contains 4 one-muscle stat cards and 2 one-moxie stat cards. Without playing any cards, Paul's defense of 2 is sufficient to defeat the possessed silverware drawer in the seaside town, because it has a power of 2. As with any combat action, this requires Paul to play the corresponding stat card, in this case 1 moxie card. This action would bring his total defense to 3, allowing him to choose instead the slightly more prestigious Drunken Rat King, located in the distant woods. Playing both his moxie cards would raise Paul's defense to 4, but this would not affect his ability to defeat the monsters currently available, since the Gargantualic found in the nearby plains has a power of 6. However, ambitiously playing all 4 of his muscle cards instead of his moxie cards, in combination with his sweet ninja sword's +2 melee damage bonus, allows Paul to deal a total of 6 damage with a melee attack, to defeat the more powerful Gargantualic. In defeating this monster, Paul, 1. Collects 2 meat. 2. Is awarded a 2 moxie stat card which he places in his discard pile along with all the cards he played during combat. And 3. Flips the Gargantualic over, revealing his newly acquired loot, the Lick Face, a hat which he places in his tableau, inactive. Next, Paul discards any unused cards from his hand that he wishes to discard, and fills his hand to 6. In this case, because Paul would like to roll over as soon as possible, he discards his remaining 2 moxie cards and draws the last 6 cards of his deck to replenish his hand, thus allowing him to roll over when he will be forced to draw at the end of his next turn. Also, if at any time he must draw when his deck is empty, he performs a rollover and finishes drawing his cards. A more complex combat example might include using combat skills to draw cards during the fight, adding damage to an attack from other combat skills, or even directly de-leveling the monster with still other combat skills, making it easier to defeat either with damage or defense.